right, so we will jump in and get started. My name is Genevieve. I am the co-founder and executive director of Know My World, and I'm also the co-founder of MangaX Technology. And I'm currently also working at an international school in Taiwan as the social and emotional coordinator. I co-founded Know My World in 2010 with a friend of mine while we were living and teaching abroad in Japan. And since then, we've really worked to connect classrooms around the world and support teachers in social, emotional, and cultural learning with their students. And Michelle is joining me today for this training.
Hi, everyone from Taiwan. I am Michelle, and I am the founder director of Elephant Communications, and we focus on bridging cultural gaps between the East and the West. I'm also a corporate trainer at SEAL in Asia, here in Taipei, and I'm very happy to be here today, and it's great to see all your faces. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. And before we get started, we just want to say a special thank you to our program sponsors. This program and the scholarships that we're able to provide are made possible from MangaX Technology, Zuchi Charity Foundation, and Vision Future Program. So these are here in Taiwan, companies and foundations here in Taiwan that are helping to support this program. So thank you to them. All right. And again, just quickly, Know My World was established in 2010 with a mission to empower global educators in fostering self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and cultural competencies within their classrooms, and to inspire students to develop a deeper sense of self and to create impactful change. So we've always believed that education goes beyond just the academic content and knowledge, and it needs to incorporate more of a whole child approach and help scaffold students' understanding in their own self-awareness, their emotional intelligence, and their cultural competencies, so that they're able to really engage with the world and provide or create positive impact in the world as they grow and develop and become adults. So that is our mission. These are our 4 pillars. So we focus again on social, emotional, cultural, and we combine that with academic learning. And in our program, this year, we are very excited to have so many countries joining us. We have about 13 countries joining from around the world to participate in this digital exchange program. All right, and so we'll jump in. The first half will be an information session where we're focusing on culture and cultural competencies and what that really means and why it's important. And then the second part will be where we get onto the EdTech platforms and kind of go through that process and what that's going to look like during the program itself. So Michelle will take it from here, talking with us about the value of cross-cultural interaction.
So the question is that I ask myself often, and I think many of us ask ourselves in cross-cultural situations, is what exactly is culture? It's definitely not a fixed thing, right? Even within your family, the generational concepts of culture would be different. So we can define it loosely as the values, characteristics, as well as knowledge or the information that people have of a certain group. So it is a very important thing to consider both for ourselves and for others, because it defines very key aspects of who we are, as well as our environment influences it, as well as we influence our environment. So that's kind of like a two-way street. It also shapes our perspectives and the way we behave, think, and interact with others. So these characteristics of culture have sort of more large or macro concepts, as well as smaller, more micro concepts, including the language we speak, how we speak the language, our religious or spiritual beliefs, as well as our racial and ethnic characteristics and generational characteristics. So this is actually a wonderful thing if we choose to look at it that way, because it allows diversity among society, and it's sort of like the richness of life. Let's go on to the next page. So we're going to jump right in to a group discussion, and you can share with your partner on this question. So Genevieve's going to help us to set up our breakout rooms. You'll just have a couple of minutes to discuss this. So you can just get into with your partner, introduce yourselves, and jump right in. So the first question is about the culture that you're currently living in. Like, for example, for me, it would be Taiwan. Is it the one that you grew up in? 2, does it coexist with other cultures? So is it like a multicultural society, or is it the predominant culture in the country? 3rd, how open is your culture or the country you're living in open to other cultures? How open is it to other cultures? And then 4, what is one cultural challenge that you're facing? This could be in the classroom or in your personal life or on a national scale. The range is wide about how you want to answer this, okay? So we'll just, as I said, just have a few minutes to discuss this with your partner, and then we'll come back. And it'd be great to have a couple of people to share their experiences, what their partner shared with them. Okay, welcome back. Hope everyone had a great sharing with each other. So could we have maybe one volunteer to share what you learned from the other person? Margaret? Oh, you're not Margaret. That's right.
I know. I'll try to change that. I'm so sorry. It always like
Cassidy.
defaults to Margaret, but it should be
Okay.
Cassidy. So, oh my gosh. So Ning Liu and I were partners in our breakout session, and we were laughing so hard. I was laughing really hard. I think we both were shocked.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So Ning Liu is from Dalian, which is in northeast China, and I taught there for 6 years before coming to Taiwan. So,
wow.
And now she's in Texas. So it's like we kind of switched places. She went to the US, and I went to China, and her family is still there. And I just was, blew my mind that of all the people that you put us together, right? The person who actually is from the place where I was just teaching for a few years. So that was wild. Anyway, so our cultures are very different from where we came from. And it was fun to talk about that and teaching in the different locations as well.
Wonderful.
That's amazing. Very cool. Okay, thank you. So how about we can move on from here?
Yep.
Yeah. Dalian must be really cold at this time of year. I was just thinking, if I think Taiwan's cold, I'm like, wow, Dalian was really cold. Okay, so it seems like we have actually an interesting group today, because it seems quite a few people in the group are quite familiar with Taiwanese or maybe general Chinese culture. So we'll go through this section a little bit quicker. If you would like more information, if your partner's school is Taiwanese and you are not very familiar with the culture, you are also welcome to contact us separately, and I'd love to chat more about this, so you can let us know. So just in terms of some differences, and I framed this more in terms of like a west-east view for people who are in a more low context or direct culture. So just to let you know, that's the perspective I gave. So 3 of the societal factors that will definitely impact how we view education and how we view interacting with our peers and our teachers are the notions of respect, especially respect for your elders, as well as harmony. So harmony in society, harmony in the group, as well as relationships. So the way that people view each other, face, and also guanxi relationship are very important, and that will directly impact how we view, how we talk, and how we interact with others, as well as our expectations for whether the relationship that we're building is just something short-term or long-term. There's more of a long-term focus on building relationships. So maybe the pace will be a little bit slower than what, for example, someone from maybe the US would be used to. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So as I mentioned before, high context is a term that we use in intercultural studies to compare it to low context. So low context cultures are usually sort of newer societies that have been built up over the last few hundred years. For example, the US or Canada or Israel. And high context cultures are usually cultures where people have been interacting for hundreds of years or even thousands of years, and they have developed more indirect ways of communicating where the message is not directly given, but rather perceived. So it's more of a dual relationship. So to keep it simple, in terms of cultural characteristics that would be very different from a low context culture, for example, the US, would be there's more of a focus on group orientation as opposed to focus on the individual. So people will consider the group in their thought process. They maybe the communication would be more indirect. It is changing with the generations. You'll see a very big difference between, like someone who's 60 years old and 15 years old in terms of this aspect. So this could result in younger students finding it more, or even adults finding it more directly, finding it difficult to directly just share about themselves. So that could be perceived as more introverted, even though they are not an introverted person in comparison to a very extroverted, low context culture. They could be perceived as introverted. As a result of this, if you just directly ask questions about their daily life, it might be better to avoid something that's more general as well as personal or direct or opinion-based. Opinion-based could be difficult to answer because there could be a concern that their question would be wrong. Their answer could be wrong or maybe different from others, and that might be not advantageous to them. So it would be good in terms of the way that your kids, your students would be framing the questions to this culture here. It could be maybe something that would be a more concrete answer, that it wouldn't be based on something that's more abstract. Okay, that's a very brief summary of something that I could really very happily talk about and discuss with all of you for 3 hours. I'm sure a lot of people here have their own experiences and opinions on this. But this is just a little bit of context for our conversation. And then the last part is that we talk a little bit more about a gray area in Taiwanese society, whereas what is right and wrong is not as defined as it would be in a country that is more like, like based on sort of the Socrates concept of logic. So we won't have so much emphasis on personal opinions. Like, for example, like religion or political views won't impact our relationships, or might not even arise as an issue, especially in a more public setting, like at work or in school. So these types of more conceptual aspects of the relationship won't impact communication very much. As I said, harmony would be the #1 focus. Okay, so thanks. That was just a brief sharing on that, so we can move on from here.
Right. So The next section kind of focuses on the importance of cultural competencies and how it helps to support our students for career readiness. And some questions that we received from teachers when we were talking with them about the program is kind of, what is the value or what is the purpose of the program? And so this is to, again, just briefly touch on those answers. So for the sake of a definition, so we're all on the same page, cultural competence is a set of congruent behaviors, attitudes, and policies that come together in a system, agency, or among professionals that enables effective work in cross-cultural situations. So basically, what we're finding is that the work culture is changing, right? Technology today is bringing us closer together. There's way more forms of communication through social media and through the World Wide Web. And so the skills that used to be really focused on in the work environment are no longer high priorities, because what employers are finding is that they can teach their employees the basic skills. What they can't teach their employees are the soft skills. And our students these days are becoming more reliant on technology and just kind of Googling an answer. And so they don't really need to memorize the information like we had to in our generations, right? And so, but students need to know how to communicate. They're using all of these social media platforms, but are they using them for good or for bad? To kind of summarize, are they using those spaces to engage with others or to bully others and troll others? And so how do we really help them understand and be compassionate about people from diverse cultures and backgrounds? How do we help them to think critically? Again, if there's a problem or an issue, do they have the skills necessary to think critically and creatively to be able to solve that issue quickly and have that kind of internal initiation to be able to figure it out? Or do they need to constantly be told what to do step by step? The quality of their work as well is it just the bare minimum to get by, or are they going above and beyond and really digging into ways to help the business grow? And then collaboration. Are they able to work collaboratively both in their own work setting and abroad with other companies that might be in other parts of the world? And are they resilient? Are they, when they face challenges, are they able to figure out what those challenges are and overcome them and keep trying and try new things? Or do they get defeated and give up quickly and easily? And so more and more employers are looking to hire people who are stronger and more capable in these soft skill areas. So this is from the World Economic Forum. These are the top 10 skills of 2025, the prediction. And 8 out of 10 of these skills are known as soft skills. So they're more about a person's ability to problem solve, engage and interact with others, and manage tasks. So this tells us that teaching students skill sets and mindsets is going to make more of an impact for their futures, rather than making them memorize arbitrary facts that they may not use again. And as educators, it's hard because depending on where we were trained, at what point in our lives we were trained and what the education structure and system looked like at that point in time, it's vastly different now. And so we were trained in kind of more of the industrial revolution setting and mindset of we just kind of create workers and people who know how to listen and follow directions, but we've advanced and now we're in the technological era and we need students to not just stand in one place and know how to listen and follow directions. We need them to think critically and creatively and be able to interact and problem solve on their own, right? So that's what this is for. That's what the purpose of this program is, to create a real life experience for students to engage and interact with each other, to learn about each other's cultures, to learn with, from, and about each other. That's always been a big part of our cross-cultural exchanges, is to provide that opportunity for authentic engagement and authentic learning. And again, just in the business world, globalization, it's here. You know, we are living in the future. And so the more globalized and culturalized our students are, the more business opportunities they'll be able to have, the more they'll be able to work and interact in a diverse workforce. They'll learn to appreciate and respect and understand the ideas and viewpoints of others, the perspectives of others, and they'll be able to understand and engage in a diverse market. And this is the jobs of the future, right? And so it's really important that we as educators are providing these types of opportunities and lessons and experiences for our students, so they really are able to build those set of very important skills for their career readiness. And also even just for universities. You know, I was talking with a teacher yesterday who's in New York, and she's saying, like, and even here our counselor is talking about how it used to be students could, with A's and B's and a couple of clubs, would be high quality candidates for universities, but now that's everyone, right? So the students really need to know how to go above and above and above and beyond and beyond and beyond to be able to stand out when they're doing these university applications, and again, with their career readiness. So it's really helping them scaffold these skills and abilities so that they do stand out and they are able to pursue the schools and careers and colleges that they really are wanting to do. So that's my soapbox speech in a nutshell. Back to Michelle.
Yeah, so following on with that very inspiring concepts that Genevieve shared, how do we do this? All right, so how do we respectfully and appropriately interact with people from different backgrounds, especially as we're, you know, still learning about ourselves and figuring out who we are as young students? Okay, so there's actually a process that we can think about for both ourselves as educators as well as for sharing with our students. Okay, we'll go on to the next page. So this is definitely like a multi-stage process. And I think something that's interesting about this is that it's not fixed. You could slowly be moving through this process and then go back and then go forward again. And then depending on what environment you're in, or even what mood you're in, it could change. For those of you who are living in a country different from your own, or who have done so, you'll also be very familiar with like how your level of cultural awareness or sensitivity will kind of fluctuate depending on the situation. So we can expect that, you know, as a group in our classrooms with younger students, that this will be the same for them. So let's move on to the next stage. So the time and effort that we need to put in is encapsulated in these 4 stages. So we could go into a lot of detail about this. I just wanted to briefly give you the idea that this exists. So stage 1, 2, 3, 4, it begins with you are not aware of this skill to have cross-cultural competence. For example, standing in somebody else's shoes, developing more empathy, trying to understand the background of why someone behaves or thinks or says what they do. So you don't have that skill, so you're unable to implement it. The next stage is you're going to recognize this skill of cultural awareness, cross-cultural competence. However, you are not familiar with it enough or have some resistance, so you do not implement it. You stay very much from your own cultural perspective, you talk from your cultural perspective, and you expect other people's to have the same cultural perspective as you. Stage 3 is you recognize this skill, you also embrace it, and then therefore you are able to implement it, okay? You can help view the other person from their perspective. You can communicate from a more empathetic place. Stage 4, you are very familiar, you recognize the skill, you know the situation, you're familiar with that other culture, and you use it strategically to, win-win situation, so that you can navigate through any cultural situation that you face. So for example, we'll go to the next page here. For example, you are working through acknowledging the cultural differences. And then you begin with the self-work, which is the first step, understanding your own culture and engaging in self-assessment. What are your biases? What are your own limitations? What are the areas where you need to grow? From here, you can start to acquire more cultural knowledge and skills. And then you are able to view others' behavior within a cultural context. Or maybe even if you're not familiar with that culture, you're able to view it within the concept of them having a cultural context. Okay, and we'll go on to the next slide. So these are 3 skills that we can definitely reflect on ourselves, as well as find ways through different activities or materials to incorporate into our classrooms. The first one is the idea of cultural humility. So you are self-aware and also sensitive. Reflected awareness, you have an increasing ability to understand the impression that you give to others. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to change to conform with them, but rather that you are aware of how you are received, and then that will maybe make you more mindful of your communication. And then an encapsulating concept, which we can always cultivate daily, is having a mindset of curiosity and growth. So an interest in learning, as Genevieve said, it's not just like learning facts, it's kind of like building this flexibility so that you can have this awareness, appreciation, understanding of cultures. And this is like building a foundation for unparalleled growth throughout one's lifetime. Okay. So case studies are extremely important for us to consider and discuss, because it really helps us to think about, in real life, how would we actually deal with certain scenarios. So we have 3, and we will go into small groups again. So if you're in, I guess probably it'll be like, if you're in room 1, your scenario 1. If you're in room 2, it's scenario 2. Room 3, scenario 3. So the first scenario is you come across a student who's mocking another student who has an accent. They're writing some message on an online platform. How do you address this situation with the student who's making these remarks? The second situation is that you're in the cafeteria, there's a loud noise. The students are making faces and commenting on another student's food. They're like, oh my gosh, that smells so bad, or something like that. So how do you handle this situation? And then the third scenario is that you're asking everyone to give a self-introduction presentation. And one student is like a third culture kid. So they were born in one country and raised in another, and they have multiracial parents from different backgrounds. So how would you help the student to create their self-introduction, or from what perspective would you encourage them? All right, so if you would like to remember the details of this, you're welcome to take a screenshot now, so you have this as a reference, and then we'll go into the rooms, and we'll have, Genevieve, how much time would you like us to have for this?
Maybe we'll have about 5 minutes.
So could we have another group member share their experiences, what the discussion was? Jasmine, would you like to share your conversation?
Sure. Me and Cheryl were talking about, she was saying in Taiwan how they have a really stinky tofu. And it's a lot of foreigners, when they come, she likes to introduce them to it, just to see their reaction, and usually like they turn out that they really do enjoy it. Some don't, but they do enjoy it. But it's a natural reaction to go, ew, that smells and I don't really want to eat it. And, but for the most part, people do enjoy eating it. But like we were saying about the smelly food in the cafeteria, she said she would open up the conversation to compare it to like, well, other cultures have smelly foods too. Like Western cultures, some like the blue cheese, for example, is very smelly. Yeah. So opening up the conversation to introduce other foods that other cultures may have that may not smell appealing but taste great. So yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah. Yeah, blue cheese and stinky tofu are really good in comparison. Okay, good. And then Ewan, would you like to briefly share about our conversation?
Yes. Hi. Yes, originally I'm from Taiwan, but I live in Houston, Texas now. So I experience like many different cultures, and also my students, they all came from like many different countries, like Mexico, Venezuela, or even Canada, or many different countries, Africa countries too. So at my school, like everybody speak English with different accents. We are used to it already. So, and I also teach kinder to 5th grade. So for the little kids, usually with the accent, they don't have too much reactions. They are more acceptable to like my English or other people's English. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you so much. Good. And then how about the last group? So that would be
Jasmine and Cassidy.
okay, Jasmine and Cassidy. Okay. Oh, we already had Jasmine, so
Oh, sorry.
yeah. I think it was
Okay.
Cassidy and
Ning,
Ning. Yeah.
Oh, right. Sorry.
do you want to talk?
Please share, you can share.
Is Ning available? Or we have two Nings right now.
Sorry, because my computer is broken. It's not broken. My camera and my phone is broken on my another computer. I have to use
Okay.
my computer, see the slide, look at the slide, and use my phone to speak. Sorry for that.
That's okay, no problem. So maybe Cassidy, would you like to summarize the conversation?
Oh, sure. So one of the things that we felt is that maybe having a multiracial background is increasingly common, and that it would not be as much of an issue as we move forward and as different areas become more diverse. But that said, that it would be important when if the child is introducing himself or herself and talks about having a multiracial background, maybe not even realizing that might be cause some interest or curiosity or some maybe judgment on other people's part, but that we would just really need to model like how fabulous, and you have the best of both worlds, and look at you get to have this experience from one parent's side and this experience from another parent's side, and just to be very vocal in celebrating and curious, like, oh, how about this and how about that, and being curious in a really positive way to model that for students. That would be just one way that you could guarantee make a positive impact on recognizing that that's a good thing to have a diverse background in front of other students who may not know how to react or who may be kind of caught off guard with that. The same thing if a child has two moms or two dads, or parents are split, or I mean there's so many complex family structures, and what's just important is that those are safe, right?
Yeah, sure. Good. Okay, very good. Yeah, so you're basically creating the psychological safety for that conversation, right? Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Thank you. So I wish we had more time for more chats, but maybe in the future.
Yeah. But we do get a break, so we're going to take a quick break here for just about 3 minutes if you need to stretch or get some water or something, and then we'll come back and we'll start working on the tech aspect. So I will see you all in a few minutes. This part is talking about the tech platforms. And so we will be using 2 different platforms for the digital journals. The first one is MangaChat. And this is a platform that's designed to help students learn about journaling and learn about reflecting and learn about their emotions. And again, this is one of our sponsors. So even though it generates comics, some teachers might feel that this is just for elementary students. But the fact is, I guess, that it's fine for older students, it's fine for adults, because what the comic aspect does is it takes away the scariness, I guess, and it kind of allows students to be more open because they see themselves as more of a comic representation as opposed to this is them in their life. And even though it's their experience, they don't see it as scary to kind of journal about these things. And it's one thing if they're journaling about something that they're happy about or excited about, but it's different if they're journaling about something that might make them feel frustrated or angry or scared or nervous or things like that. So both elementary and secondary students are invited to use this platform. So we can start by having you go to this website, which is studio.mangachat.co. Okay, so you should see this kind of a screen, and you can click, I think, just try it out. And you should be able to try it out just without setting up your account. So this is what the students will see. It's a template. So they'll click here to start, and you can just kind of choose the answers to the questions at the beginning, and then it invites you to write it. So they will need a title for their journal. So you can type any kind of title that you'd like. And then the time will automatically record, and then you can choose your location. And then you can click done. And then you can type what happened, and it gives the students sentence stems. So this is helpful if there's English language learners. They can just click this stem and fill in the blanks. So it's really up to you. And then once you click next, it will take you to the next section. So here, when the students create their account, they'll be able to choose their avatar. But here, I think it just gives you a general avatar. Oh no, you can change your avatar, sorry. Okay, you can change the expressions of the avatar in the trial. So here I'm happy about it. And then you can change the background. And you'll see as you change the background that it's represented in the comic panel. And then once you are happy with that, then you can click done. And then you can go to the second panel. So this is saying, what do you feel about it? And again, there's sentence stems that students can choose from if they'd like. Or I think, yep, so you can write your own idea here. And then it asks you to identify some emotions about how you feel. And then again, next. So you'll choose the avatar emotion and the background. for the second panel. So whatever you want to choose. And then you can click done. And then the third panel is what would you do? So again, if they're talking about something that might be difficult or challenging, then they might want to seek help or say sorry or take a break. If they're talking about something that is good, then they might choose thankful, right? So and then next, and then again, you can choose the pattern or the color of the background, and done. And then at the end, you can click finish. And then it will take those panels and turn it into a JPEG format if you click share. So if you click share image, then you can choose if you want it stacked or in the window panels. The students can also, let me go back quickly. Oh no, not on this one. Okay. When they log in, there'll be a little plus sign on the side. So if they want to add an additional panel, they'll be able to do that. But once you hit share, then it will create an image. And then this is important because they can share this image on the next platform on Fan.school. So they can't, this is more between you and the student. You will get a copy in the back end of each journal that is generated. But in order for them to be able to share their journal, they will need to put it on the Fan.school platform. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. And are you able?
I've got a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So when the students create a profile, will they always log in and it will build over time? So they will have like a series of journals, or is it a one shot at a time creating? It builds over time.
It builds over time. Yep. So they'll have all of their journals. They'll be able to access them in the future. Yeah.
Okay. Do I need to do or talk to any of our administrators about using this platform on kids' computers, or do they need parent permission or anything we need to? It should be all fine. It'll be fine, but is that something we need to?
It should be fine, but we do provide a parent letter that will go home and get parent permit, just to let the parents know about it and get parental permission to share. That's more for students. Like if you as the teacher take pictures of them in the class, you'll know who you can photograph and share with us so that we can share on our social media and platforms. But yeah, student privacy is very important. So I'll touch base about that at the end of this presentation as well.
Thank you.
No problem. Good question. So you'll notice here there's a 5 and a heart. So this is called something candies. But basically these are points that the students get. It's kind of an incentive for them to put a little more effort into their journals because they get more candies based on the quality of their journal. And then here they can go to this. You can't go to the store right now because, can I? No, because it's the trial mode. Okay, let me see if I can do it. Okay. Well, they'll be able to go into the store and then they'll be able to play with the avatars and choose different avatars based on the points that they have. So now, which screen are you guys seeing? Are you seeing the same screen or do you see MangaChat Studio?
We see MangaChat Studio.
Wonderful. Okay, so this is the back end of the journals. So this is where you will be. So you'll see here, it says Ms. Murphy. This is the first training session. So they made journals using the code so that I get a copy of it. And so here you can see their journals that they sent. And then for me, I can see what they wrote, and then I can comment as the teacher and give them some feedback about their journal if I'd like. It's not necessary, but it's nice if you want to have that interaction. So this way you can kind of see what the students are writing about. This helps you get a little bit of insight into their worlds. So, you know, one teacher was not feeling very well, so she still joined, but she wasn't feeling great, right? So our kids are very honest as well, and so you can get a lot of insight from our kids, how they're doing, kind of mentally and emotionally and academically as well. And so here you'll get the notifications up here, so you can see all of the different, oh, these are my students in a different class. Okay, these are my actual students. So you'll get notifications, and then here there's a little thermometer. And in this class, there are no students with a bad mood, so it's fine. But if you, if the website tracks that students are choosing emotions that are more like angry or frustrated, then it'll give you just a little bit of a monitor on that. So you can then check in with that student and see how they're doing or offer any extra support if necessary. All right, so what we're going to try to do, because we have a smaller group today, is see if we can get you logged in as the teachers on the back end of MangaChat so that you're able to set up your class easily. Now, that's inviting others. Once you create your class, then you'll be able to click a button and it will generate a code. This is for teachers, so you'll have a different code. For the students that is shorter. It will look more like this. And then the students will just go to the front end, so the studio.mangachat, and they'll create a profile, and then they'll put in this code, and then that will create the book. At the back. There you go. So you'll be able to see all of the students in the correct journal. All right. So this is our first time trying it together as a group. I'm hoping that it will be okay. Let's just try. And if there's challenges, then we'll stop. And then when your facilitator meets with you and your matching teacher, then we'll walk with you guys individually at that point in time. But I think today we're small enough, we can try and do it together. So everyone can go to this ws.mangachat.co/diary link that I just put in the chat. And then it should ask you to create an account, and you can do that by clicking Google, like log in with my Google account. And if anyone has questions or if you're not seeing that, then just let me know because I'm trying to do this by memory because I've already logged in, so I'm not sure what your screens look like exactly. And then it should ask you some basic questions like what is your favorite color, and you're giving you some squares to choose, 5 colors you like, and then 5 colors you don't like. And then you'll basically be creating your own teacher profile.
Genevieve, I'm at the set it up for the student part where it says my journals. Do I just chill there?
Okay. Do you mind sharing your screen
No
with
problem.
me?
See.
Oops, sorry. You should be able to share it now. That will help
Okay.
us.
Here we go. Let me see if this is it.
Okay, great. So here you should be able to click create journal. And then you will put,
Right here?
and then you can name it. So click journal again. Yep. And then you can name it. This will just be for your class. So you can name it whatever name you'd like. So my awesome 10th graders or whatever. And then you can choose the grade level and then the colored journal.
So there's no 10th grade, should I just put 9?
Yeah, sorry. And then we're user count limit. You can adjust that based on the number of your students. So if 30 is enough, then that's fine. Okay, great. And then you can choose any color that you want for your journal. And then the language, you'll choose English. Great. And then next step.
Oh, I have to have a description.
Oh, okay. You can just, yeah, there you go. And yeah, you can just keep it as unlimited.
Okay.
Great. And then I would leave it at auto submit. That way you just automatically get a copy of their journals. And then that's up to you how frequently you want to get notified. So it can be immediate. And then the last one is in beta testing. So if you click the arrow where it says on the right side, yeah, then you can adjust how frequently you get email notifications about the journals.
I don't know, just
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is fun.
Yeah, so, and again, this is to kind of help support students' emotional well-being as well. So, and then the last one you can't check right now because it's in beta and that's in the future. Yeah, and then you can click finish. There you go. And so for right now, this will be your code, but this code will expire by the time your students join, but that's okay. You just can click the journal again and then click generate code again, and it will give you a new code that the students can then use. And basically your students will just go to that first email, the studio.mangachat.co, and then they'll create their own profile. And then when it asks for the class code, this is what they'll put in, and then they'll join your journal in the back end. Is everyone good? Any questions about that? And it's one of those things where the more you kind of interact with it, you'll understand it more. But if you have questions, just reach out to your facilitator and they'll be able to connect with you to remind you of any questions that you have. All right. Ewan, were you able to create your journal in Jasmine?
I'm still working on it. Sorry, I was in a different thing and then I had to start over. So
No worries, no worries. Do you have questions? Do you want to share your screen? Do you have questions?
no, I'm good right now, actually.
Okay. Ewan?
Yes, still working on it. Yeah.
Okay, okay. No worries. And Ning, if you're able to do it now, great. If not, this is being recorded and everyone will receive this recording so you can rewatch this part. And again, if you have questions when you meet with your facilitator, they'll be able to help.
So the code, do we give the code that we just got now? We give that to them when we add them, when we upload their account?
They will create their own account.
Okay.
And yeah, when it gets to the point where it asks them to put the class code in, then they will put that number in
Okay.
to join your journal.
Okay.
Do your students, I know at our school the students have Chromebooks. Do your students have Chromebooks or access to computers at the school?
We have iPads.
Or iPads? Okay. I think iPad should also work. Ewan, how about your school?
Yes, my school, all the students, they have Chromebooks from
Okay.
school. Yes.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Yeah, so they should be able to use their school email accounts to get into this.
So we
All
just
right.
had to set up the journal. There's nothing else we have to do on the platform.
That's it for now. Yep.
Okay.
So when you start, then again, you'll just give the students that first email address. You can not email, I'm sorry, website address. You can write it on the board or email it to them. So they just click that first link and then it'll ask them to create an account so they can use their school email and choose their avatar, the colors they like, blah, blah, blah. And then it'll ask them for the class code. And then
Okay.
they'll just copy and paste. I email the kids just so they just click and copy and paste.
Yeah.
But whatever works best for you. Yeah. All right, wonderful. So that is MangaChat. And then the second one is Fan.school. So Fan.school we use that because it's a secure blog site. And the students are able to upload, they can write journals or blog entries or journals, and they can also upload images or they can upload video files. But they would need to put the link, which means they would need to, if they create a video, put it on YouTube first and then change the settings so that it's just anyone who has the link can view, and then they can copy and paste the link into the Fan.school platform. And this is where the students will be able to engage a little bit more with each other. So again, we're trying something a little bit different this time to try and get the accounts actually set up. If you go to, okay, give me one moment. I need that other- Oh, okay. No. Okay, first I'm going to show you an example of what it looks like. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so this is a space. So each partnering class will get a space in our Fan.school account. This is an example with one of my classes. So you can just see that they're able to write the blogs. Right now, they're mostly just writing blogs, but they can add a picture to what they write, and then they can just write a little bit about it. So this is where they will reflect and write the answers to their journal question. And you'll see here that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, 5 comments, but they're all pending. So they're pending because I, as the teacher or your facilitator, needs to go in and help monitor those comments and make sure that they are appropriate and respectful, right? So here, this is fine. So you just click the 3 dots and then you can approve the comment. And then once you approve it, then it will show up in the space of your class, but not until. So in the beginning, all blogs and all comments need to be approved. And this is how we can monitor. And again, we will help you with monitoring the blogs. And so here it says edit audience. When the students submit their blog, it will go to the moderator. So you will see it and your Know My World facilitator will see it. So we can help you with managing. And then we just click to space. And once you click that, then you can click publish. And then the other students who are in this space will be able to see the blog at that point in time. Right. So if there's a red icon, then you need to edit, you need to approve the blog. So it's very simple. This is why I like this platform. It's super simple and easy to manage, and it's secure. So you'll be able to see, and then once you've seen it and approved it, then the icon will change. So you can edit the audience again to the space and publish. So when we create the space for you, we will limit it so that it needs to be approved. All comments need to be approved and they can only be published in the space. So you don't need to worry about the blogs being public or seen by the public. So this is what it will look like. And then back to spaces. Have a couple set up. Okay. So let me see. I think I set this up as an example. Yeah. Okay. So again, here you can type a blog response if you click that, or you can upload a photo. So here it says write article or photo or video or add a file. So this is where the students, this is what they will see is just kind of a blank space, but then as they click, then they'll be able to add the content. So this is an example of a photo. So as long as they have it saved in their computer somewhere, then they'll be able to pull it from there and upload it as a JPEG to the Fan.school space. So this is where they can share their journals from MangaChat. And then lastly, this is where they can upload a file for a video. Again, they'll need to add a link. Hello, today we can talk about so they can create short videos to answer some of the prompts if they would like. And this is helpful if students, maybe they're struggling with writing or they are more creative and want to express themselves differently besides just typing words. There is that flexibility in how they choose to answer the prompts. And then this is what the other style of comic looks like, this like the window frame. So the students will be able to upload in their space, and then they'll be able to have their blogs approved, and then the other students will be able to see and comment on those journals. So it's pretty self-explanatory and fairly easy. So the next part is going to be creating your spaces. So are there any questions about that at this point? We're good? Okay, great. Next, new share. Oh, now I see the new share. Okay, here we go. So this is the spaces that you'll have. So for example, Cassidy, I'm gonna start with you here. So we've created the space. However, we will add you to the space. So under the spaces, you'll click settings, and then you'll be able to click this plus button. You are going to join as a moderator, Cassidy. So I'm going to see if I can DM you. I might be trying to get too fancy. I am. Okay. So I'm going to have to stop sharing, I think, to DM you. Oh, wait, maybe. Hold on. Wait. See, we're all learning together. Here we go. Okay. Bam. All right, Cassie, were you able to see the code as a direct message? Okay, perfect. All right.
Oh, wait a second. Nope. Wait a second. As a direct message,
In the
G2
chat.
In the chat. Okay. So I also see it as a GD2 VCT. I
Yep.
got it there also.
Yep. So if you just, okay, sorry, you're gonna go to And we will create a spreadsheet so that this is logged for you. So first, what you're going to do, Cassidy, is go to this link. And then you should be able to just type the GD2 VC.
Oh, gotcha. All right, let's
Where's
see.
the link? I'm sorry. I am so lost right now. Where?
Sorry, this is just for Cassidy.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yep. So I'm just direct messaging her to
Okay.
prevent the confusion. Okay. And then
Okay.
Cassidy, you should be able to join this space, and then
You want me to share my screen, or are we talking it? Is it pretty intuitive?
I've just refreshed it, so I'm just seeing if you've been.
So I just hit
okay.
join.
No,
sign
you
in.
can go ahead and share your screen.
Okay. Bum, bum, bum.
I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay.
Okay. So let's see where I am. Boom. Okay.
Your tabs look like mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gorgeous.
Okay.
Lots of things going on there. Okay.
Oh, right. I'm sorry, I forgot. Yes, so if you click sign in with Google, and then that will help create your account in their space. And then if you click join,
Oh, not click too hard there. Is it doing it?
not yet.
Did it do it? Hmm.
Why is it not letting you join?
What's that mean?
I'm not sure. Oh, I think that's if you like the article, but you can try clicking it. Not
Oh,
sure.
now I can. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Okay, there you go. And then click join. And then on my end, I should be able, I'm going to refresh. I should be able to see that you have joined that space. There you go. You have. Great. So you are now joined as a moderator or as the teacher. So if you go back and you click, if you go to home, and then you go back to spaces.
Home or spaces?
There you
This
go.
one?
And then you click your space. There you go. Yep.
Yep.
And then,
Clicked it too hard. There we go. So this is my choice. Yeah, there we go.
and then you should be able to add
Oh,
students.
adding kids. Oh, so it's not under like, let's see.
Mm-mm.
Right, it looks a lot like Google Classroom, really. Is it?
Yeah, it should be under spaces. And then on mine, I'm able to see the settings, or maybe only I can add you.
If I'm a moderator, there is, I know that sometimes when I share with Google Classroom, if I add a teacher, there's no levels of their ability to interact. It's either you're in it and you can do everything except delete the class. But are there different levels, like with a Google Doc, like you can edit it, you can view it, you can comment. If I'm
Yeah.
a moderator, do I get to do all those things?
Yeah, if you click the plus sign next to where it says spaces, but I think that will just create a new space. No, you don't need to do that.
That wouldn't be tied. Yeah, we want it tied
Yeah.
together.
So if you click again, Mrs. Harding, it says you're a moderator. But how do you see, what if you click the bell?
Notifications.
Maybe then you can only see, so maybe we might have to add the students to your space. Or you would have your students join we can give you the link and the student code.
Okay.
I'm wondering if you have to be the members, because like for example, like my page, if like I'm like the Know My World group,
Mhm.
and that part like yeah, maybe you can I share my screen
Yeah,
and I can show like a yeah. So I'm wondering maybe when you are the member, you can see everything. So here, like here, I'm this one, like the member. So when I'm member, I go in, I can see all the posts.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cassidy
So-
will be able to as well. Right now, there just aren't any posts in that space. But what I was
yeah, because
thinking is she should be able to click the plus sign to generate the code for her students to be able to join as well.
here I'm the member, not the moderator. So I'm just wondering, is that because that the difference of these and make yeah. So maybe you can try that way.
No, because she's a member here on so if I share the screen here, you can see that you're added as a member in this space. But what I thought you'd be able to see would be this column here, Cassidy, and then you would, because it's under spaces. So I thought you would be able to hit this plus button and then share this code, the members code, with your students, because this is the moderator code. But it might be that we send you this link and this members code and you share it with your students and then they join that way. And then once they've joined the space, then you can monitor the student interactions.
So they would join as members and
Yes.
then I'm the moderator. Gotcha.
Yeah, but as a moderator, you should be able to see the bell, which you were, I could see that when you were sharing your screen. So then you're able to see the notifications about that.
Got it. So it's not like Google Classroom where I can, click a link and send in a message to kids individually via email. That way it'll be something that I still contact them through their school email and say, here's the link to join this new platform and then create their own account. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So that's what it looks like. Okay. So that's the space for you. And then I'll go back. I feel like there's probably a different way to get to spaces besides toggling between there and home. But anyway, Jasmine, we're gonna do the same thing with you. So I'm going to add you as so first we're gonna adjust. Yeah. As a member here. So zero. Jasmine, I'm going to direct message you. That's your code. You need this thing first. Okay. So Jasmine, you should see in the chat a direct message that has your URL link and then your code to join as a member. And then who else is here? Miss Shay. We'll do that with your space as well. And then the teacher that you are matched with will also have access, will join as a moderator, and their students will join as members in this same space.
Okay.
And then that's how you guys will be able to, your students will be able to see and interact with each other's
Okay, so I've joined.
journals. Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me send this code. And for right now, that's all you really need to do is just join.
Okay.
And then just once the program starts for the students, then we will be able to send you, or we'll just resend you this link for your space and the code here for the members so that
Okay.
the students will join their space. So you can see here, all the spaces are together, but each partner group will have their unique space.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So if I go here, why don't I see? Let me refresh. Oh, there you are. Okay, perfect.
So,
So you're-
question, are my students going to see me as Miss Jasmine?
We can change it.
Okay. Yeah, I go by my last name.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, I was just putting that for
For
today.
now, yeah.
Yeah. But how would you like it to be? Miss
Darish.
Darish?
Yeah.
Yep, so we can adjust that. It should be
Thank you.
adjusted. Yep, no problem. And you can see this little bell
Yeah.
on yours? Okay, perfect. All right. And Ms. Shea, are you able to join?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Are you in the space?
Yes.
Great. And how would you like your name? Yep, there you are. Do you want to go by Miss Shea or Miss Ewan
Yeah, Miss
Shea?
Shea.
Just
Yeah,
Miss Shea.
Miss Shea would be great. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Okay,
Yeah, that's
perfect.
good.
And yeah, so here we have all the notifications to make it private, and you can see this bell, yeah. Okay. So that I'm going to, oh, yeah. There's a different space. Okay, so only you as the teachers and us as our team as the facilitators will be able to monitor the bells. Okay, but
Excuse me.
oh, hi, you are here, okay.
Yeah, sorry, because I can't use my camera. And can you please change my name to Miss Liu? Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Okay, so let's see, we'll add you as well. Is all right, and Ms. Leo. You should be able to join
Got it.
the space.
Yes, got it. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. All right, so hopefully everyone is in their space. All right. If you're able to join now, that would be great, Ms. Leo. If not, if you're having computer challenges, then no worries. You can use the same link and password later when your computer is able to work. Okay, great. All right, so now you guys are set up on MangaChat and Fan.school. And again, we will be supporting you in that process with the facilitators. So we just have, okay, perfect. A few minutes left. So go back to our slides and just wrap up. Oops. Here. Screen share. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, we will send you a parent letter and a release form. The students, the release form is just, as I said, so we know if students are able to be photographed to share those or videoed. That does not mean that they cannot join the project. They're all able to join and interact with each other. This is just letting parents know about the program, and if we're able to feature them or their work throughout the program, that would be wonderful, but not mandatory. So the timeline at this point, this month we're focusing on teacher trainings and getting everyone set up. And in the beginning of February, your Know My World facilitator will reach out to you and they will arrange a time between you and your partner teacher or teachers. A couple of the classes are small, so we have 3 teachers partnered. They'll reach out to you to determine an introductory meeting. At that point in time, you will be introduced to your partner teachers. We'll share the journal prompts. You can review them and edit them based on what you feel is your students need. We'll make sure that any questions you have about the tech are answered, and then you'll determine the start date. The earliest will be the middle of February after the Chinese New Year holiday, because the students in Taiwan will be on a break, I think, until they go back to school on February 14th. So that's the earliest it will start with the students, but we do have this semester. So we are trying to have exchanges wrapped up by the end of April at the latest. This is a 6-week program, so you won't need the whole semester. You kind of pick when you'll start, and then it'll be 6 weeks later that you'll wrap up. So just be mindful of any other vacations or holidays that might be happening in the semester. And then the way the program will roll out is the first week is introducing the program to the students, any kind of front loading you want to give them as far as like what are blogs or information about their partner countries or how to journal, anything like that, getting them on the journal platforms. And then the next 2 weeks is just for their own personal reflection time. So we, as I said we will give you the list of prompts and you can choose one per day to give to the students to focus on. And then, so they'll do their own reflective writing, and then the next 2 weeks will be where they engage and interact with each other's journals. We do say about 15 to 30 minutes per day is good during these 4 weeks. It depends on your availability, your class time, and things like that. If the students need to do it for homework on occasion, they can. But we know that teachers are busy, so we're trying to reduce the ask time, but still make it a meaningful program. So about 15 to 30 minutes per day for them to participate in this journal. And then the last week is a wrap up. So the students can, if the schools are close enough, then we can do a Zoom meet. And if not, then we ask the teachers to just record a short video where the students can introduce themselves and maybe share something that they enjoyed or learned from the experience. So that's kind of the next steps. And yeah, you'll receive the prompts. The prompts and the letter to the parents will be coming out soon. We do ask if you're able to share about this program on your school website or social media. We'll be sending a participatory badge that you can help share. And then we are fundraising to help continue to keep this program going. So if you can share our crowdfunding website as on your either personal media or school media, that would be helpful as well. It's kind of a pay it forward idea. We will also be creating a private Facebook group. This is optional for you to join, but this is where we will share more resources and articles and our monthly masterclass that you'll be able to participate in and maybe engage and interact with the teachers a little bit more who are also participating in this program. And then that's about it. So the last thing is we ask if you're comfortable, we'd like to take a group photo, and this will be shared with as part of our grant evidence.